Now, in order to get really toned and sculpted arms, one of the most important muscle groups to work is the tricep. The upper tricep is really where most of the problem happens when you have sagging or drooping arms. But that doesn't mean the rest of the arms aren't important. In fact, I'm going to show you exercises that are going to cover your entire arms, but we want to start with the most important spot here. Now, I call these phone book pushes because usually you're going to do this with a phone book if you're not using any weights, but since I have weights out here, I'm just going to use weights. Now, if you're using phone books, you want a nice thick phone book that is about 3 to 4 inches thick at least. And all we're going to do is put them behind us. And this is just going to give us a little bit of an elevation. So all you want to do is put your feet out on your heels here, and you want to bend your knees a little bit. The dumbbells or the phone books are going to go behind you. You're going to push yourself up and lock your elbows out. So this is kind of the starting point here. You're then going to slide forward just a bit until your toes are flat down. So your feet are flat on the floor here. So we're slightly forward and we're elevated. Elbows are locked out. All you do now is just drop yourself down. Now this, you're not going to go very far, an inch or two at most, and then push yourself back up. Now we're going to do lots of short little elbow pushes here without stopping. So nice and slow and controlled, but never stopping, never resting on the ground. Just a little bit of an elbow bend, up and down, nice and consistent. Now, you might not feel much at first, but as you go, over time, you're gonna feel that muscle start to tighten, and blood's gonna flow in there, you're gonna feel that really firm up. Fantastic exercise for really firming the arms incredibly quickly, really powerful. So again, you're not going very far. There's only a slight little bit of movement happening here. And that doesn't mean I don't like full range exercises, because I do. You're going to be doing lots of exercises in the Go Sleeveless program where you take that arm through full range of motion. But what we're doing here is focusing on the most important problem area and just getting quick results. So again, on those phone books or dumbbells or whatever you're using, on your heels, lift up until your feet are flat, and then just short, slow, consistent movements, squeezing those triceps really hard at the top of each one of these repetitions. Again, lots of them, and just continue going until you basically can't lift yourself up anymore. Now this is a really great arm sculpting exercise, especially if you don't have a lot of upper arm strength to start. So it's a great exercise for beginners because what it's going to do is allow you to get the maximum effectiveness out of this exercise without having to have a lot of prerequisite upper body strength for a regular push-up. So what we're going to do is use an elevated platform. I'm just using my exercise bench here. You can use the side of a couch or a coffee table. Anything that's a foot or 2 feet off the floor is fine. Now we're going to get into a push-up position. And then all we're going to do though is lower ourselves down. So we're going to lower ourselves slowly, touch the bench, drop to the knees. And that's all there is to it. Now we want to keep the back nice and flat. We don't want our hips to sink down or lift up too high. Back nice and flat. Lower yourself down as far as you can. And if you're really weak with your upper body, you might find you get to a point where you just can't hold yourself up anymore and you kind of collapse onto the bench. That's perfectly fine. As you get stronger, you'll be able to hold yourself longer. And so we're just using the strength that you have to get nice and low there, to work that muscle through the entire range of motion, but without having to be able to push yourself back up, because it's always harder to push than it is to just lower yourself down. Still very effective, and you're going to really feel this the next day. This makes all those muscle fibers in the triceps work really hard, so it's very powerful at toning and sculpting the arms, but again, you don't need to have a lot of strength to do it. So elevate yourself up. Again, keep your back nice and flat. Don't let your back sink down. Don't arch it up. Nice and flat here. And then on the edge of the bench, then just lower yourself slowly. Touch the bench, down to the knees. Pop yourself back up again and continue. So you're only doing the lowering portion of the push-up. And again, if you don't have a lot of strength, you might find you only get to about this point here, and you just kind of collapse, no problem. Just go as far as you can, and then as you get stronger, you'll find you'll be able to go farther and farther. So even though most women are concerned about the sagging part of their upper arms, the triceps, that doesn't mean that the biceps don't come into play as well too. They're a third of your arm, and you really need to make sure that you strengthen your biceps if you want totally toned arms. So what we're going to do here is work on the biceps primarily, as well as into the forearm a little bit. Now these are really simple exercises. And you just have to sit on a bench or a chair or anything where you can actually grip behind you here. So if you're sitting on a chair with a back, just turn it sideways so the seat back is beside you. You then want to sit slightly forward on the chair. You want to grip the back part of the seat. Then what you're going to do is lean forward and then lift your feet off the ground. Now you're going to use your arms to hold you back. So normally if you just let your feet go, you're going to fall forward like that. So what we're doing is using our arms to brace us, and that way the bicep muscles have to work really hard to hold us back into the seat. So really simple, but really effective. So again, lift your feet up, lean forward, let your arms hold you back. So keep leaning forward until you get a lot of tension there. You're going to feel that right in the bicep right away. Hold for about 3 to 4 seconds, and then touch your feet down and relax. Then lift up. Hold again, and touch down. Now, you make sure that you're using a very sturdy chair so you don't just rip it in half. But if you find that you can't quite get so far, then just slide back in your chair a little bit. Lean forward. That'll give you a little bit more power there. Again, just holding that. And you should feel this right away. If you're doing it correctly, the whole arm is going to tense up. You're going to feel that working all the way through the bicep. Really fantastic exercise for toning your entire arms, but again, specific emphasis being placed onto the bicep as opposed to the tricep, which is normally the only thing that is worked in an arm toning program.